Go back with another video. Let us take a look at the sprint reports. The sprint reports is actually the report that is occurring only under the Scrum projects. Using a Kanban, you are not going to be able to see the sprint report. Now, what the sprint report is all about, the work that has been completed and the work that has not been completed. And it's really helpful for the Scrum Masters to determine if there are potential for creating a scope creep. Scope creep is something that you do not really want to have. And why is this? This is because when you're already having a active sprint, and before the active sprint that you had the sprint planning session where you have planned out all of the tickets that need to be done when the sprint ends. One sprint has its start date and it has its end date. And the goal is to mostly complete the issues from the sprints that have been planned. Sometimes this is not the case that is in there. How does this report work? If you're not sure about that, you can click this option where it says how to read this chart. First of all, you need to look at each sprint in here. For this sprint, for example, I don't have any statuses in here because, first of all, I don't have any estimates at all. And I also, these issues right here, these are the issues that were not completed at all. If you go for more of the sprints in here, and if I take a look, no, none of these. Let me go for the third sprint. For this third sprint, no. And it's saying no issues in the third sprint. This is pretty funny. Yeah, no issues in here, and it's starting to pile up these errors, which is not an ideal thing to have. But finally, we have something here. The guideline itself and also the remaining values. As we can see, there are indeed a lot of remaining values. And why is that? Because if we go within the status report itself, we can see that there are issues that are not completed indeed, and also that their original estimate is taking in here is 1 day and 7 hours. The best practice within the Scrum project is to use these story points for the estimation. Now, this is something that might not work with your team because your team might not understand the story points, or there is another problem that there is an overestimation or there is underestimation problems. And also there is a status for the completed issues where as the original estimate there were 6 hours, and as you can see this issue right here, it had the original estimate of the 6 hours. How do we know this? Do we know this if we click on this issue right here, and for the original estimates we have the field as 6 hours. Now, best practice right here is if you have the original estimate and also you have the story points. So you need to determine what is the best that is going to be for your team. You're not the one who is going to say, hey, I'm the one who's going to say, we're going to be doing story points and basically that's it, full stop. No, that cannot be done. Scrum Masters are the servant leaders. They're there to things go smoothly, and they're the preachers of the Scrum framework. They need to make the Scrum framework easier for the team rather for them to be hard. Now, if you're not sure how you can check for this, you can always go to your project in here. And when you go to the project, you're going to go to your board settings in here. You're going to go to the estimation. And as you can see, the estimation method is indeed within the original time estimate. And of course, there are interesting estimation methods in here, such as cost, insights, linked items, mitigation score, quantity, threat score. To be quite honest, I don't know what these things are and how you can make estimations based on the linked items, but you indeed have the story points. Now the estimation was changed to the story points. Now, if we go back to our Scrum, to our sprint report once more, we don't have we can view this sprint, but you need to be sure that most of these issues that are not completed, to pay a close attention to them, because as you can see, the remaining values are, well, they are really up high in here, almost 12. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Bye.